So I searched the internet about doing a sole swap, and as much as information I could find was a lot of people telling you how to remove the soles. But after that it seems to get a bit sketchy, so I thought I would make my own video and try and just work it out myself, the best way to glue them. So this is obviously a pair of 03 Shimas. They have crumbled. The uppers still in good condition though. They're not a perfect shoe. I just wear them out and about, so it's any good as any shoe to practice on, I suppose. So what I did was I thought if I could sandwich the shoe in between two pieces of wood, and that would spread the pressure across the bottom of the midsole and from inside the shoe as well. So basically I got my donor midsole here. I drew that round a piece of wood like that, just drew a line around it, and then was left with that. And obviously I cut that out on a jigsaw. It's a piece of 5-inch plywood, so it's just slightly bigger than the footprint of the midsole. So that was the simple part. Now the tricky part is, I thought obviously you can see this is where the majority of the glue was. It held the upper onto the original midsole. So what I did here was I got another piece of cardboard and I made that so that it fits nice and neatly and snug inside that midsole, because you'll see that obviously there's quite a recess here, and the upper, well, you can see the glue line where that upper would sit. I mean, obviously this glue line here is this top edge here, so you need that to sit inside, and it needs to be pushed down, and obviously while the glue takes hold over a day or two. So then what I did was, obviously I came up with that, as I've just said, came up with that bit. So from that bit I then made these. Originally I made it in one piece. It didn't really work out. I'll explain why. Just same piece of plywood, but be careful with the jigsaw, that's actually blood. And then these are the same size as that. So then put that, well, it's a bit tricky holding the phone and doing it. Basically that one slides inside, butts up into the toe, and then the back one goes in the back. Put the phone down a second. So you can see now that that's the join. They're sitting nice and snug inside the shoe. So then this piece of wood, I put that onto there like that, and then the upper goes on, and obviously I'm not going to line it up perfectly right now, I'm just giving you the idea of how I'm going to do it. But as you can see, the glue line which is there, obviously you can line it back up with the midsole quite easily. You can see here how it needs to drop in, and well, you know what I mean, you can get the idea, and then you line it up perfectly. I guess you want to see the glue line, drop into the midsole like that, so that it literally lies on the top of the midsole, because that's the position it would have been in. So like that, and then with these clamps here, we're going to clamp, if I get it to work, hang on a second, put the phone down. So then I've got the clamp on like that, and then just compress it down, and you can see that the upper then gets squeezed down into the midsole, and because the piece of wood you've got on the inside sits nicely on the base of the midsole, doesn't take into account these edges here, it's pushed the upper straight down onto the midsole, right up to the glue line without really much effort. Now for the front, because it's a piece of wood and it's flat, and obviously the midsole has a slight curve to it, I made a small little wedge here out of like foam. I put that in at the front like that, and then with the second clamp I'm going to put that on. Second clamp on there, and then as I tighten that up, you can see it's pushed the midsole right up against the upper really nicely. That's just where I want it. I mean, and I have just done that one-handed while I'm holding the camera, so you can line it up in your own time. Obviously the midsole will get a bit squashed with the pressure. It's lined up nicely there. I need to maybe adjust this wedge slightly just to take up that front bit, and I'll leave that until after and glue that separately at the end. But that's the idea that I've come up with. I'll let you know in the next video if it works. So here are the shoes. This is the finished result. This is them all glued up. I've put the fronts on that I hadn't done in the video. I've done that now. I'm pretty happy with them. They're just shoes I wear for work. They're nothing too special really. I just wanted to give them a bit more life because the uppers are, you know, in pretty good condition still. So that way I did it. It glued the upper into the midsole really well. I'm pretty pleased with that. I've got a blue bubble still on the new midsole, and I think the only main difference is it's black now where it was grey on the previous ones. So yeah, it all worked out quite well. It's tricky in places, but I mean, the places I was worried the most was at the front, but it's pretty good. They're pretty solid. I've been out and about in them already, and there's no problems there. Going to be pretty firm, just as they were before. So there you go. And the outsoles, I put on these old graphites that were worn down the midsole. There's still a bit of life left in them. I just decided not to bother trying to put the old outsole onto the new midsole and then attach it, because it was just on the new ones too. It was just too firm. I just thought I was going to damage the midsole taking them off. So these will get a few more years out of these as well, because good bit of life on them still. And this was the original Shima midsole. It had split there. In fact, it's quite worrying how little midsole there actually is between the bubble inside and the outside. Probably a millimetre, if that. Other than that, that was the only place they'd gone, but they probably would have got worse if I'd worn them longer. But you know, they had cracked pretty badly inside. Look, there's the air bubble at the front. You can see that inside. So yeah, you can see it was starting to perish quite badly here as well. And the bubble, well, it's been like that for ages. Anyway, there you go.